Class 11th, Subject Physics, third chapter, Motion in a Plane. From this chapter, let us see first of all the introduction of this motion in a plane. So, motion is the change in position of the object with respect to time. So, when there is change in position of any body, then we can say that that body is in motion. That is, for the motion of a body, there must be change in position of that body with respect to time. Now, the motion of the objects are classified into three different categories. First one, that is motion along a straight line, that is rectilinear motion or translational motion. Second, motion in two dimensions, that is motion in a plane. So in case of motion in two dimensions, it will take place either in xy plane or in yz plane or in xz plane, so that it is motion in a plane. And third one, motion in three dimensions, that is motion in space. So if we are walking on the plain ground along a straight line, then it will be motion along a straight line or rectilinear motion, or it is also called as translational motion. If we throw any cricket ball, then the motion will be in two dimension, that is motion in a plane. And if any spacecraft, aeroplane is flying, then its motion will be considered as the motion in three dimension, that is motion in space. Now let us consider first the rectilinear motion, or it is also called as translational motion or motion along a straight line. So for that purpose, we have considered here an object which is placed at point O, and then it is moving along positive direction of x-axis. As it is rectilinear motion, it will move along this straight line path. Now at any instant of time t1, that object is present at point P during its motion, and at next interval of time t2, it is present at point Q, so that x1 will represent the position vector of that object at time interval t1, and x2 will be the position vector of it at time interval t2. So x1 and x2, these two vectors will represent the position vectors of this object when it is in motion along the positive direction of x-axis at the time intervals t1 and t2. And therefore, from this now we will have to define some of the terms. The very first term is the displacement of that body. Now what is the displacement? Let us see. The displacement of the object between time intervals t1 and t2 is the distance between the position vectors of the object at the two different instances. The displacement of the object between time t1 and t2 is the difference between the position vectors of the object at the two instances. And therefore, from the above example of that object moving along positive direction of x-axis, we can write the displacement of that object vector s will be equal to delta x, that is vector delta x. This will represent change or the difference between the two position vectors, that is final position vector minus initial position vector, that is vector x2 minus vector x1. So this equation will represent displacement of that object. Now its direction is along the line of motion of the object. So the direction of this displacement will be along the motion, that is along the line of the motion of that object, that is along positive direction of x-axis. Then displacement is a vector quantity and its unit is meter, and its dimensions are same as that of the length, that is 1 in length. Then second quantity is path length. What is that path length? There is a difference between the path length and the displacement. So path length is the actual distance traveled by the object during its motion. The actual distance traveled by the object during its motion is called as path length, and it is the scalar physical quantity. Its SI unit and dimensions are again same as that of the length, that is meter and 1 in length. But in this case, let us consider one example in order to explain these two terms, displacement and path length. So here an object is initially present at point O, so that its displacement as well as path length will be equal to 0. Now along positive direction of x-axis, the distances are marked in terms of meter as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this total length is equal to up to this 5 meter. Suppose initially that object at any instant of time is present at 2 meter, that is x equal to 2. Then it moves from 2 to 5. Initially it is present at any instant of time at x equal to 2, and then it reaches to x equal to 5. At that time its displacement will be equal to 5 minus 2, that is 3 meter. Similarly, the path length will be again equal to 3 meter. So when that object is moving in only one direction, that is along positive direction of x-axis, at that time its displacement and the path length both are same, that is equal to 3 meter. But now suppose from this x equal to 5, that particle or that object moves in the backward direction, it reverses its direction of motion, and again at any instant of time it is present at 2, then it moves to x equal to 5 and then comes back to x equal to 3, so that the displacement of that body will be nothing but the difference between its two positions, that is initial position and final position, and therefore 3 minus 2, that is equal to 1 meter, that will be its displacement. But it has covered total distance first of all 3 meter and then these 2 meters, therefore its path length will be equal to 5 meter. So if the motion of that object gets reversed, at that time its displacement is 1 meter and path length is 5 meter, and therefore in this case the displacement and path length are different in magnitude, but the direction will be the same, that is direction of displacement will be along positive direction of x-axis. Now again the same object, if it moves from 3 to 1, from x equal to 3 to x equal to 1, initially it is starting its again motion from x equal to 2, so that this 3 meter, and again it will come back through 4 meter, and therefore its displacement will be now 1 meter. That is the difference between these two positions, initial position and final position. It will be 1 meter, but as its magnitude is 1 meter, but direction will be directed towards negative direction of x-axis. So its direction is reverse. But in this case, the path length will be, first of all, this 3 meter will be the path length, and again when it is reverse and it travels equal to 4 meter, therefore 7 meter, that will be its path length. So in this third case, path length of that object will be equal to 7 meter, and in magnitude displacement will be equal to only 1 meter and directed along negative direction of x-axis. So in this way, if the particle is moving along the same path in the same direction at that time, at any instant of time, its displacement, and that is magnitude of the displacement and the path length will be same. But along the same line, if the motion of the object gets reverse at that time, the path length and the displacement will be having different magnitudes. That is, magnitude of the displacement and path length will be different, and sometimes the direction of the displacement will get changed. And now let us consider next term, that is what is average velocity. Average velocity, first of all we will define it. The ratio of the displacement of the object during the time interval over which average velocity is being calculated to the time interval is called as the average velocity. The ratio of the displacement and object during the time interval over which the average velocity is being calculated to the time interval is called as the average velocity. If the position vectors of an object are again vector x1 and vector x2 at time intervals t1 and t2, then the average velocity phi average, that is in magnitude and direction, will be given as vector x2 minus vector x1 upon t2 minus t1. Phi average equal to x2 minus x1 upon t2 minus t1. So this quantity is a vector quantity, that is average velocity is vector quantity. Its SI unit will be meter per second and its dimensions will be 1 in length, 0 in mass, minus 1 in time. Similarly, what is average speed? Instead of average velocity, what is average speed? So it is defined as the ratio of total path length traveled during the time interval by that body over which average speed is being calculated to the time interval is called as average speed. So ratio of the total path length during the time interval over which the average speed is being calculated to the time interval is called as average speed, and therefore the average speed phi average will be given as path length divided by time interval. So in this case of average velocity, we consider here displacement, and in case of average speed we consider path length, and therefore this average speed is a scalar physical quantity. Its unit and dimensions will be again same as that of average velocity, that is SI unit will be meter per second and dimensions will be 1 in length, 0 in mass and minus 1 in time. Now, from this we can say that if the rectilinear motion of the object is only in one direction along a line, then its path length and displacement are same, and so average velocity will be equal to average speed. On the other hand, if the object reaches or it will reverse its direction along that same path, if its direction of the motion gets reversed, then the path length will be greater than the displacement, that is magnitude of the displacement, and hence average speed will be greater than the average velocity in magnitude. That means if any object is moving along the same path in the same direction, at that time its average velocity as well as average speed will be the same, because in this case displacement and path length will be same. But if the motion of the particle along that path gets reversed, at that time its path length will be greater than the displacement, and hence the average speed will be greater than the average velocity. So in this way the average speed and average velocity will be explained. Now let us consider what is instantaneous velocity. What is that? Instantaneous velocity. So instantaneous velocity is the velocity of any object at a given instant of time. For that particular time only, at a particular time only, that instantaneous velocity will be calculated. And now it is defined as the limiting value of average velocity of the object over a small interval of time, which or when that value of time interval delta t tends to 0. The instantaneous velocity is defined as the limiting value of the average velocity of the object over a small interval of time delta t when the value of time interval tends to 0. The value of time interval delta t tends to 0, that means it is very close to 0 but not equal to 0, and therefore that instantaneous velocity phi, factor phi, will be equal to limit delta t tends to 0 delta x upon delta t. So this delta t is tending to 0. It is very close to 0 but not equal to 0. If the delta x is sufficiently large, then it will be written as factor dx upon dt, that is derivative of this displacement x with respect to time. Therefore velocity phi equal to rate of change of displacement with respect to time, that is dx by dt. And now let us consider again one more term, that is instantaneous speed. So this will be instantaneous velocity in which we consider the displacement, and here instantaneous speed. So the speed of an object at a given instant of time t is called instantaneous speed. So here we consider speed and here we have considered velocity. Now this instantaneous speed is defined as the limiting value of average speed, the limiting value of average speed of an object taken over a small interval of time delta t, taken over a small interval of time delta t when the time interval delta t tends to 0. Now in this case the path length is equal to the magnitude of the displacement. The path length is equal to magnitude of the displacement, and hence instantaneous speed will be equal to magnitude of instantaneous velocity. So in both these cases, that is instantaneous velocity and instantaneous speed, in this case the magnitude of displacement will be equal to the path length, and hence instantaneous speed will be equal to magnitude of instantaneous velocity.